The Leadership in Law podcast is powered by Law Marketing Zone. Transform your firm's digital presence with expert marketing solutions tailored exclusively for attorneys at lawmarketingzone.com.
Welcome to the Leadership in Law podcast with host Marilyn Jenkins. Cut through the noise, get actionable insights and inspiring stories delivered straight to your ears. Your ultimate podcast for navigating the ever-changing world of law firm ownership. In each episode, we dive deep into the critical topics that matter most to you, from unlocking explosive growth to building a thriving team. We connect you with successful firm leaders and industry experts who share their proven strategies and hard-won wisdom. So, whether you're a seasoned leader or just starting your journey as a law firm owner, the Leadership in Law podcast is here to equip you with the knowledge and tools you need to build a successful and fulfilling legal practice.
Welcome to another episode of the Leadership in Law podcast. I'm your host, Marilyn Jenkins. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Megan Kiefer, to the show today. Megan is a trial attorney based in Louisiana who's built a reputation for delivering results and showing up relentlessly for her clients. She's tried numerous jury and bench trials as first chair, secured multiple multi-million-dollar verdicts, and recovered more than $100 million on behalf of her clients. Megan has handled thousands of personal injury cases as well as complex class actions and is known for her all-gas, no-brakes approach in the courtroom while maintaining a deeply client-first philosophy. Her clients often describe her as a pit bull in a pantsuit, a title she's proudly embraced. In addition to her litigation work, she spent years teaching trial advocacy, negotiation, and mediation at Tulane Law School. Today, we're talking about how she's built her practice, her approach to client relationships, and how her marketing strategy is rooted in trust, reputation, and strong brand identity. I'm excited to have you here, Megan. Welcome.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Tell us about your leadership journey.
My leadership journey. I guess my journey into law was a bit atypical, maybe begrudgingly done. It started off like maybe many lawyers start off, where I majored in something that had no real life utility. It was a philosophy degree. And then wound up getting recruited to go to Tulane Law School right after Hurricane Katrina, when there was a big push to recruit local, like New Orleanians, to come back home. So I took a good deal to go to law school. They gave me almost a full scholarship. I'm forever grateful and indebted to them to that. But I was adamant that I wasn't going to go right into the legal practice. I wanted to travel the world. I was young. I don't think I really thought, I'm going to be a lawyer, even though I grew up around lawyers. Maybe that's why I didn't want to be a lawyer out the gate. But so I graduated, I wound up doing well in school. And so I started interviewing for jobs around New Orleans. And my grandfather, my father, my uncle, they're all lawyers. And New Orleans is a very incestuous city. Everybody knows everybody if you're in a community. And when I was interviewing, everyone was like, I know your dad. I know your grandma. I was like, wait, let's talk about me. What? I don't want to get a job because of nepotism. So I said, screw this. And I wound up taking a job in San Francisco because no one knew anybody that I knew out there, and took a job at a very big firm. Long story short, the economy crashed and they offered me something I couldn't refuse, which is, hey, they approached me like, look, we've hired all these people. Would you possibly defer your employment? I'd accepted a job there and we'll pay you not to work. And I was like, hell yeah. Take that job. I don't even want to go to work right now. My parents, I told them, and they told me I was terrible. I'm an idiot. I'm not serious about anything in life. And I was like, whatever, I'll figure out life later. So I put a backpack on and I traveled the world, moved all my stuff into storage, and I lived off of $30 a day. And in a weird way, I don't know if you could say I found myself. I certainly found myself, but I think what I found was like how to look at people and their struggles and their differences and really reflect on what binds us as human beings. And when you travel through the slums of India, I volunteered in Vietnam, and just people with immense challenges and immense poverty. I think by the time I came back to start my journey in the legal field, I had changed, and my perspective on life, who I wanted to be, the service I wanted to do, changed. And of course, I had to go and do my servitude at the corporate litigation firm in San Francisco, and I learned a lot there. but then wound up moving home to New Orleans after a couple of years because of a death that happened in my family, and moved into my family law firm, which at that time, they didn't even have an electronic calendar. The challenges persist and ensue. And after representing insurance companies with them, doing a lot of defense work for a few years, I just didn't find that to be validating to who I wanted to be anymore. And had a rather uncomfortable meeting with my dad and my uncle and said, look, I want to be a part of our family firm. I want to do this, but I want to leave if this is what the vision of the firm is going to continue to be, because I want to represent people. I want to help people. And they said, okay, let's do it.
All right.
We transformed our practice, and now I run a firm that's, I'm a 10x the size to maybe 20x the size of where it started. And that's been challenging. So I don't know. That's an atypical journey, but it's mine. Here I am, and I love it. I love every single, I say not every single day. I love 99% of my days as a lawyer, and the 1% you just hate. That's what the tagline of being a lawyer, I think, is.
I love that. I love that. It is interesting how the perspective changes when you travel the world.
Yeah. I think it should be a requirement. And travel the world poor, like none of this looks Instagram travel.
Right.
Get into see how the sausage of the world is made. And I think that's the perspectives that a lot of people in the U.S. are missing. We're so spoiled here. We're born into such an advantage. And really, I think we need to recalibrate how we think in this country about that.
I agree. So looking at the fact that you've handled over $100 million for your clients, what do you believe is the biggest driver behind that level of success?
I think that sometimes lawyers get caught up in this idea that this is their case, or the clients are a means to an end of making money or something like that. I don't think I've ever lost sight of the fact that every single client that's hired me, they've trusted me with something that is so important to them. And I let them drive the ship of their case, right? The healthcare that they need. And then I get behind them 100%. And I don't have any quit in me. So if I'm litigating your case, like, I'm going to stay up that extra 4 hours to go down every single rabbit hole. Whereas other lawyers, especially, look, you're on contingency fees. We work off of not on an hourly basis. I know a lot of lawyers close the computer, go home. It's easy to do. Every single case, we go the extra mile to make sure that we're getting 100% value on every single client, because that's what they deserve and that's what they expect. And there's no shortcuts here. And we've been talking a lot at our firm about an all gas, no brakes approach to litigation. And it's not just like a fun little term that we created. It's just, look, let's go. File the suit, send the discovery, take the depositions. Don't accept objections that are probably trying to hide things. Go get it. File motions, press, and then you'll find the hot documents. You'll extract the value from the case, or you're going to become so goddamn annoying that they're going to be like, what do you want? What do you want to go away? And the other thing that everybody wants to say, I'm a trial lawyer. That is like this thing. And I don't even know if like people actually know what that means or why there's even value to it, which is why I think it's so funny that all the billboards are like, we're trial lawyers and I'm a trial lawyer. And there's a lot of value and a beautiful thing about being a trial lawyer. But the reality is, like, most people are not trial lawyers. People market themselves as trial lawyers. They're not trial lawyers. And they're not fooling anyone, because all of the defense attorneys, the insurance companies, they know who tries cases and who doesn't try cases. And so one of the things I think we get a lot greater value for our clients, because we do try cases, and we will try cases, not in a chest beating way. I don't use that as a threat, but it's, look, if we can't come to a value that everyone can be satiated with to resolve your case, we'll go to trial. No big deal. We'll make it easy on everybody. Doesn't have to be war, but we'll do it. Really, once we moved over to doing plaintiff work and we did a few trials, like, our settlement values, not just for me, but for everyone at the firm, has really substantially increased, because I think they're charting us in the background where it's, look, if you play around with this firm, they're going to take your case to trial, and then you might wind up paying 20x what they're willing to accept right now. So that's not our goal for every case. And I tell every client, look, my goal for your case is to get it settled. If you have a client that wants to try their case, something might not be right.
Exactly.
It's not a pleasurable experience for any person. I enjoy it because it's my profession. That's not our goal, but that it's certainly on the table. So I think that's certainly like something that's really augmented the value of all of our cases, and it has helped us to get really great results for our clients.
I think showing that too, you're not afraid to go to court, that you are prepared and will be prepared. And the insurance companies will see that. That's great for your clients.
100%. And a lot of times it's not preparing for trial at the end of the case. We're preparing for trial at the beginning of the case. Like, you need to tell the story, like really what a client has asked you to do by signing up a case for you in an injury context to litigate it. They're actually just asking you to tell their story, and tell their story in a way that somebody will understand that they deserve to be compensated for what they've gone through. And I see a lot of lawyers, and I certainly saw on the defense side, just go through the motions, hear the medicals or whatever. Like, we meet with our clients to be like, look, what do you want from this case? How has this affected you? Who are the people who can talk to that and speak to that? And we're starting to show the insurance companies, like, look, this is the journey, this person, this unique journey too, right? Because something, I always say, look, a scar is a funny injury, because a scar, some people are like, I love my scar. Other people are like, this is mortifying. It's the worst thing in the world. And until you visit with someone, you don't really know how they're affected by something that happened to them. And you're just not going to get that at these big sort of factory firms. It's not baked in like that. So how do you tell someone's story if you don't learn the person? I don't think you can. So we're doing that from the beginning of the case. And I know you want to get into marketing, but that sort of dovetails, because at the end of a case, once you've learned the story of someone, you've become close to them and become friends with them. You've learned who their family is. I'm going to their houses, eating dinner. Bring your brothers, your sisters. I want to learn about you. All of a sudden, like, you've become friends with somebody, you know? And at the end of their case, especially with a positive result, they're not going to call somebody on the television that they see. You're their lawyer for life. And they become your best advertisers, if you will. It's not structured like that, but that's the byproduct of doing right by people.
And those 745 reviews you have, same. Yeah, it shows you guys care.
We do. And I won't hire somebody to work for me, whether you're a paralegal, an attorney, or a clerk, that doesn't care about what we're doing. Like, you need to get in. You need to get in on our worldview, our company culture, our core values, or you're not going to have a role here. If someone's in our office bitching about a client or something, it's like, time out. That's not how we are operating here. And if we get into a place where with a client, that relationship is so tenuous, we'll fire the client. You know, if that's where we're at, because we go to bed every night thinking, hey, we're adding so much value to the world and we're serving this purpose, and everyone that's working at our firm is doing that. And if we're not doing that, we need to back up and say, what's breaking down here? And do we really need to continue on with this relationship? Who's winning from this?
Hey, real quick before we dive back in, if you're a law firm owner and you're tired of guessing what's actually working in your marketing, this is your sign to stop winging it. Law Marketing Zone works exclusively with elite law firms to bring in better clients, higher value cases, and real measurable growth. We're talking SEO, paid ads, local maps, call center support, and more, all done for you. Go to lawmarketingzone.com/book a call and book your case growth session with me. It's free, it's focused, and it could change the trajectory of your firm. Now let's get back to the show.
I love that you bake that into your company culture, because that's important, that everybody's on the same page.
100%. Because look, this started with, hey, I want to do plaintiff work. And I did every intake. I wrote every blog. I handled every case. From nose to tail, I did every single thing. I was the paralegal, the lawyer, the receptionist, whatever, for the plaintiff practice. And now, I guess you could say it's a beautiful thing. A lot of lawyers might say, from a business perspective, it's a beautiful thing. Hundreds and hundreds of cases are resolving now without any work from me.
Nice.
And it's nice. Obviously, you could, I guess, say it's passive income. I'll just dispute that based on the amount of hours I've put in over the years. But what it actually means is I have to have such immense trust in every single person that's handling cases at my firm, whether it's a paralegal or a lawyer, because they need to execute the promises that I've made to former clients, prospective clients. Like, people are hiring me and I'm saying, okay, look, I'm not going to handle this case, but this person is. And they need to be executing like our core values over and over again. And that's an immense trust that I put in my staff. And they know that because I never shut up about it. Like, yeah. So it's a great thing. And look, honestly, like I'm very excited to come to work. We don't do a lot of remote stuff. We have a company culture that's collaborative and in person, and you can feel it. There's been times at our law firm where that wasn't the feeling of like warm and fuzzies and collegiality. Like right now, we got a great thing going on. We've hired some great A players, and everyone I think is just really happy to be here.
I love that. Yeah, that shows a good company culture and that you're setting the stage. If you've got good A players that are sticking around, retention is a great thing and it's cost savings to the company.
100%. And I think one of the things we do is we pay over market. A lot of law firms are running this, let's maximize the profit at the top. I get it.
Yeah.
I think if you want good talent, if you want to keep great talent, you got to pay great money. Like,
yeah.
People are not stupid. They see money coming in.
They see the big numbers coming in, and if you give them a tiny piece of that big number, eventually that's going to get under their skin.
Yeah, and you could learn that. You don't have to work at a law firm to know that. You could work at Subway, and there's some ignorance of anybody about what actually it takes to finance like an operation, and that's fine. I think if you put yourself, and I remember being at my other firm, and I was getting calls every day, all day. Hey, recruiters. I'm not stupid. I know that people in our firm are getting those same calls. I want to develop a culture where their instinct isn't, I want to leave. So that they're happy. They don't want to leave. But then the second thing is, how are you going to bait away somebody that's pretty happy if they're already getting paid more than what you're going to offer?
Pay and job satisfaction both. A lot of that plays in. The culture plays into it. You don't want to leave a place you're happy to go to some place you're not quite sure. The grass is not always greener.
Yep. But maybe you would for an extra 10%. So I think a lot of people are, and business owners in the legal sphere are always struggling with like, why can't I have good retention? And I would say, what are you paying? If you're paying market rates, unless somebody is happy as shit, if they get a call, they might leave for an extra $5,000, $2,000. And you're going to be like, oh my God, this is terrible. I just lost my paralegal, which is terrible, right? If you lose a good person at a law firm, it is somewhat catastrophic, right? To try to fill it. And so I would say, look, is the extra $200K a year worth it to put in your own pocket versus retaining the good people that makes your life easier, your clients happier, your business run better?
You get time off or whatever you do with your time when you're not at the desk. Yeah.
I run a chase after a 3-year-old. It's basically exclusively what I do outside of this law firm. But look, that maybe did change. My kid's 3 now, and that probably did change a lot of my perspective. I'm still a workaholic because I care, but I've maybe built out a practice where I could step away a lot more because I'm not going to miss mornings. I'm not going to miss nights. I'm not going to miss vacations because I can't. There's no mulligan on a kid.
No, true.
So yeah, it's all coming to this place where I'm very happy with the people who allow me. How fortunate am I to be able to step away from a business and go on vacation with my family and not get a phone call?
Yeah.
That's
well,
incredible.
They always say that's the thing of a business owner, take a 2-week vacation and you'll know what's broken. If you can take that vacation and it's not broken, good girl.
Yep.
That's been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I find that like my best piece of advice is you have to go somewhere where it's a different time zone because like even for me, you got the tick where you're like, let me check my email really quickly. And then I can go from 0 to 100 anger, stress on a wrong email. I do try to take vacations where I go really dark. So if anyone out there is struggling with that, I know. One thing I do is I delete my office email off my phone as an app. And that was like, oh yeah, that was like one of the best things I ever did when I go on vacation. That's it. Otherwise, you can reach me almost 24/7. But deleting, we don't realize how much of a tick we have to like wake up and go check our email.
You're right. Try to make a point of not checking mine first thing in the morning. I don't need to start my morning off with someone else trying to reach me.
That's some like yoga stuff though. Like people that have accomplished that, I'm like, oh my God, tell me about your meditation. Like it's like really incredible. I am too type A to have actually crossed over into the ultimate type A, which is a control of oneself. But when I go on vacation, if I delete that off my phone, I find that I don't even go. I might go for the first few days and be like, oh, it's not there. Okay, it's not there. I'm not checking it.
I haven't thought about deleting the actual app when I go on vacation. That's because I have someone else managing it anyway. You still have the tick to go look at it, right?
It's a tick. And look, everybody, they have my cell phone number. If something blows up, they're going to get me. And look, we need to normalize telling people I'm not available.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not available. And sometimes, look, you got clients that will not accept that. And I have had to learn to say that if they can't accept me not being available while I'm on vacation with my family, then maybe we are not going to be having a good relationship. Yeah. Now, there's an emergency, I'll get on the phone, but know
it's different. It's like just a generic call on a Saturday or a Sunday.
No. Because look, and it's not selfish so much. I could spin that in a second to say, if you want me to be the lawyer that I need to be to get you full value, I need to take care of myself too. And maybe that was something that I started eating in my 40s, where it was like, I'm burning it at too many ends here and I'm slipping. Not in a way that I think anyone would notice, but I don't feel like I'm at my A+ game, and I don't feel comfortable in an A- or an A. For me, just myself. Yeah. And so I've really tried to, what do I need to fill my cup back up and focus on a lot of wellness too, and mental health, and lawyers don't do that. And you're not going to be a good advocate for another person. I'm not going to be a good parent or spouse or runner of a business. I'm not going to be very effective at all those things unless I'm taking a break.
Good that you noticed that early, though, that you saw that something wasn't, because some people just get completely burnt out before they notice, oh my God, I'm burnt out.
Another hot tip for anyone listening is therapy.
Yeah. Well,
incredible. There's 10 years of therapy, and I'm starting to spit really good mental health game. But therapy thing everyone should be in. Our government should just have stations everywhere where people go get free therapy, and I think everyone would be better. But yeah, look, that's not a secret. Lawyers suck at taking care of themselves. We have disproportionate mental health issues, substance abuse issues, suicide. And it's easy to see why. We're one of the very few professions. We're literally professional boxers, but without the gloves. It's the only and without the exercise, the only profession where it's inherently adversarial. You know,
people come to you on their worst day.
Worst day.
You know, when something terrible's happened, they come to you. So you don't get to see people at their best when they first show up at your office.
I never do. Sometimes I joke in the right spaces. It's just I'm just going through it. I'm like, girl, no one comes and talk to me about how they're good. No one comes and I'm just calling you because I've had the best day. No, everybody's calling. And I think people are don't understand, if you do what I do, catastrophic injury litigation cases, there's days where I have 5 different really emotionally taxing meetings where somebody's crying to me about the wrongful death of their loved one, and I feel it, right? I don't know how therapists actually do it, to be honest. I don't know how they go all day with other people's stuff, because I wear that on my sleeve too. I feel it. Yeah. Right? And I'm not going to be like, all right, good meeting, I'm going to go get a hamburger or something. I need a
recovery time.
Yeah. But that's part of advocacy, is understanding how deep those cuts are and letting people have those moments where they can emote and express themselves. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when someone calls you for a case, again, I've spent years doing all of our intake. Probably my law firm probably hates me a little bit, because no matter what job anyone has, I've done every job. I've worked here when I was 5.
I think that's the best test of a boss. You could say, I've done it all. Okay. So I'm not asking you to do something I wouldn't do or haven't done.
Our clerk, our firm's clerk. I'm like, yeah, I did that job in 1998 all summer. Yeah. I know where everything is. I'm behind this pointer. I know where to hit it. But look, when somebody calls, a lot of times with the case, they go into a story for 10 minutes. You say hello and they're like, oh my God. And then 10 minutes later, maybe there's somebody that wants to interrupt them. Look, I just want to know these things. But what I encourage my intake people to do now is, it's okay to say, wow, this sucks.
Yeah.
This friggin' sucks that you're in this situation. Because I think that's actually what people want to hear. They want to hear that you understand that this sucks. And it could just be it sucks that your car is damaged. That's a big deal for people. And I think a lot of lawyers we don't really handle your property damage. We don't really care about that. So we're going to move on. No, you need to tell people yo, this sucks. And this isn't even your fault. And it sucks. Right. And then
they want empathy.
Empathy. It's normal human desire. They want to feel heard, but then they want to feel seen. Okay. Like they want to have an audience to tell you their problems. They want you to interrupt so that you can be like, no, I understand your problem. Let me explain your problem back to you. No, they want to tell you their problem. And then they want to feel like you're competent to fix it after they know that you're also enraged by it, right? Like it's not complicated stuff. But I, again, hire people that's not a script. That has to be your actual response because you can't fake authenticity. And I know you can train your intake, you can do this. But you know what? I call bullshit on all that. I think that you can't fake, whether it's an intake, with meeting with clients, with oral argument, but certainly with trial work, you can't fake authenticity. And people can feel it, jurors can feel it, other lawyers can feel it. So you need to like what you do, you need to like your clients, and you need to feel their suffering, and then you can advocate for them. And then they trust you to do it. It's a beautiful thing. And it's an immensely beautiful thing. And I think we have the best profession in the world, in a way.
Well, I love the way that you're talking about authentic empathy. And I know that you say part of the way you grow the firm is through your clients and their networks.
Yeah.
So it sounds like basically it's a big package, right? They know that you care, you fight for them, you've got a great culture, and they're willing to share their network if they know anyone. So you're getting great referrals, great business from referrals, and just continuing to grow the firm. And is that the way all of your attorneys are doing? You're all kind of cultivating clients' networks and clients because you set the stage of how much you care?
Yeah, I think that's certainly encouraged. Like I've read so many books about marketing and business and law firms. And I don't remember who said it at some point. It was like, you can spend all of this money trying to target the new client, right? That's what advertising and branding and all this stuff is. Or we have now thousands and thousands of clients that we helped satisfactorily. I was like, blow the whistle. Let's target back those clients. They're already a foot in the door. Remind them of who we are, what we do. We're still here. We care about you. We're not just see you later. So this year, especially, we've done like a big push to retap that well and just remind our clients and their networks that we're still kicking it. We're still doing what we were doing. We're still here to help you. And one of the things that I did was we had some sort of a brand marketing team that suggested I write like a newsletter quarterly. And
that's what I was going to say. We call it database reactivation. Most people do not do it.
So they drafted the newsletter and sent it to me. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not sending. This doesn't sound like me. It's cheesy. It was like, oh, this is Megan's shrimp skewer recipe. And I was like, no one gives a shit about, first of all, this is New Orleans, and that is not a good recipe. So that's strike one. Like, we care about food in New Orleans, and this shrimp skewer recipe sucks, okay? But then the other thing is, look, if I'm going to send out a newsletter from our firm, from me, quarterly, to our clients, I'm going to write it, okay? And I'm going to write it raw, like where, like, I'm exposing some of what we're struggling with, not just like, we killed this case. And we're not just, oh, here's a case, we got $3 million. It's not just like a, hey, we're so awesome. It's really just, it's interesting. So I've been doing that for a couple of years. And what I've found, and I put my son in it because my wife doesn't like my son being really in anything, but that's the one thing because that's how I'm growing, is as a parent, as a lawyer, and there's a lot of lessons that cross over, just happen to be that way. And I'm amazed at how many people like feel super connected to me because of that newsletter. Even other lawyers, like the amount of people who talk to me about it is insane. And we've had clients call in, and one of our attorneys was talking to me, this guy, and he was talking about you and Sam. And I'm like, dude, actually, Chris, that's just somebody I represented 4 years ago. He thought it was a family friend. That's how close the guy felt because of the newsletter and the authenticity behind it. And that's where I think lawyers tend to do this thing where it's, this lawyer's doing this, so I'm going to copy it. And that must be how I have to advertise. I'm going to get in a suit and stand on a truck and be like, we handle trucking cases. And look, you throw enough money at anything, it's going to work. But we spend less than $300K on all of our marketing from nose to tail a year. And that's including client outreach, our marketing person, social media, Google, local service ads. That's including all of our SEO, which is nothing. Somebody would be like, you should 5X that.
Yeah.
And maybe
if you're successful LSAs, you don't need PPC. And I know in New Orleans, PPC would be really expensive.
Yeah, look, we put a pole in the water on that. And it was just like our LSAs, we're doing great on
Yeah.
LSAs. I think one of the reasons though, and you never know, but there's just not a lot of female injury attorneys out there, period. So my photo's on the LSA. And so it's like me and a bunch of like white dudes, right?
Yep.
So it's
Old white dude.
like older white men, and no offense to older white men, but those are the ones on TV too. We get so many calls from people, and I'm very grateful about this because of what I feel like is coming in the future. So many calls from people that were like, I wanted a female lawyer. Men, right? Like old white men are calling. I want a female lawyer. I feel like they're going to be, and name all the things that we, of course, are, right?
Yeah.
And so I literally was at a lunch last week with a bunch of women lawyers. I'm like, listen to a report from the future, because these are clients, right? And they're not thinking about diversity. They're not like maybe corporations are. They're literally just, look, I think women are doing shit better, and I want to hire a woman. And that mass of people is really snowballing and compounding. And it's really a beautiful thing.
So your intake is asking why, as addition to how did you find us? Why did you pick us?
I'm asking why. You know,
Nice.
a lot. Yeah. I call a lot of people, or I try to meet with as many clients as possible, even if it's like when they're leaving out the door. My schedule's crazy right now because I'm still 150% litigation and 150% business running. But when I call back, especially the people like, hey, why did you hire us? How did you get to us? Because sometimes people like call you from a Google LSA, but really their friend recommended us. You don't know what to really attribute that to. I would say I would
Right.
attribute it to both. But that's invaluable. So then I told my SEO team, I'm like, look, here, we're getting all this feedback. Like maybe just incorporate those things more, because we clearly have a standout. We have probably 6 women lawyers here. It's like completely unheard of. Which
Yeah.
is sad, but that's a thing that's working that I never really baked into my mind. It's working. But yeah, we're throwing parties this year for our old clients in different pockets of the city just to have that reconnection. So yeah, we're really doing a big push to do that. I don't have any forecasted plans right now to say, okay, we're going to 5x our marketing and start doing TV or radio. That's a big brand
That's a big
switch.
jump.
I'm very loyal and protective of our brand because it's been garnered and fostered over decades and decades of before I was even alive, like Kiefer and Kiefer was here. Our branding right now is we're serious lawyers. We handle serious cases. We take you seriously. We have personalities, of course, as well, but very refined branding. It's hard to keep that when you start going, and I'm not on TikTok, but
Yeah, true.
not saying never. There's probably a way to do it right, but right now I'm just hella focused on making sure that we're able to replicate the client service over and over again before we scale any further. We're still scaling. We're still growing organically 20% every year, easy. I'm comfortable in that space. You know?
Okay. It's a good percent. What, so looking at your, it sounds like you've got basically all your ducks in a row. If I could wave a magic wand and solve any problem in your firm right now, what would that be?
Oh, wow. I would love someone who could manage all of our litigation. Like an older, somebody like my dad should be this person. I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. He was a fantastic attorney, great trial lawyer, but he's tired of all that. He doesn't want to do it anymore. But he was never the greatest mentor anyway. He was like a just go do it kind of guy. Come with me.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a deposition you should read. I really did a great job in it. It's okay.
Yes.
Not on purpose. I think mentoring someone's hard and no one ever teaches you how to do that. So
Yeah.
I'd love it if he was like, look, I supervise all of our litigation. I do this. And he does that a little bit. But if I had an older sort of really seasoned trial attorney who could heavily mentor all of our trial lawyers, I think I would chef's kiss that addition. But all the older trial lawyers, they're like are grumbling out the door like, I want to quit. I'm tired. I want to move to the beach and whatever.
Play golf all day. Yeah.
Play golf. I don't even golf, but yeah, no, he's doing it, but begrudgingly.
Yeah. Hilarious. At least he's helping. And this
He's
has been a great conversation. You've shared a lot of great things that you do in your firm to help your firm grow, and I really appreciate the time. I know our audience is going to want to maybe connect with you. Where would be the best place to do that?
Yeah, sure. Look, here's my cell phone, 504-430-2159. Text me, call me. I am a big, like, a rising tide carries all ships person. I'll share data, info, like financials. I'm good. And I'll probably ask you questions back. My email is Megan, MEGAN, at Kiefer Law, KIEFER law.com. Yeah, get with me.
Fantastic. We'll make sure that those are in the show notes. And again, thank you so much for a great conversation. It's been a great show.
Yeah, you too.
That's a wrap on today's episode of the Leadership in Law podcast. Before you go, I want to make sure that you know about something that could be a real game changer for your firm. If you've been doing the work, showing up, serving clients, but your marketing still isn't producing the caseload you know you deserve, that's exactly the problem Law Marketing Zone was built to solve. My team and I work exclusively with law firms, and we don't do cookie cutter. We build a strategy around your practice, your market, and your goals. More high-quality leads, better cases, less stress, and more profit. Head over to lawmarketingzone.com/book a call and book your free case growth session today. The link is in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Leadership in Law podcast. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of law firm owners out there facing similar challenges and striving for the same success. Head over to our website at lawmarketingzone.com. From there, connect with other listeners, access valuable resources, and stay up to date on the latest episodes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, keep leading with vision and keep growing your firm.